Welcome to Toffee TV. James Rodríguez is an Everton player. He is signed on the dotted line. The Colombian International has arrived to join up with his old boss, Carlo Ancelotti, for the third time. And I know so many Evertonians are excited about this one, including Bas.
I am. It's weird. It's weird, isn't it? A weird thing to hear you say Carlo Ancelotti and James Rodríguez when, you wouldn't have thought this time last year that Everton, a year later, would have Ancelotti and James Rodríguez in the club, but they have.
Yeah. This is what it's all about, isn't it?
Looks good in the kit as well.
This is what it's all about, though, isn't it? These are those moments that we were all hoping for when Farhad Moshiri came in. We've been given,
different moments.
Allardyce and Tosin and Koeman and Klaassen. Well, now we've got Ancelotti and James Rodríguez. So, all good things come to those who wait. I think.
We've been waiting.
I think. I'm not putting.
I was gonna say, let's not go.
No. I'm just saying these are the things I think we just expected, and I think for me, I've had me reservations about a deal like this, just because of the situation we found ourselves financially in, having players at the not the wrong stage of their careers as such, but paying maybe over the odds for players. But I think with someone like this, there's an untapped resource on the pitch, off the pitch. He's back with his favourite manager. He said this numerous times, this is his favourite manager. And I think he does bring that extra little thing. I think when we brought back Wayne Rooney, there was an element of that, but we didn't quite use it the right way. He didn't maybe fulfill certain obligations, and it only lasted a year.
And he was 3 years older, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he also had more miles on the clock, though.
Yeah.
Whereas on this one, I'm hoping that this leads to better times for us. And there's a lot being made about comparisons with how, say, and Manchester City have done things. Robinho's been mentioned, and I remember when they went in for Kaká and these kind of things. Who knows where a signing like this can take us? All I know is that he's a good footballer, and hopefully that's what we see.
Do you see, I was just going to say before we get on to something, do you see him as a Robinho moment? I don't. I understand when people use the comparison, but Robinho, I think, was 23 or something when City signed him. Obviously, he's 29. But it was different times then as well, of course. You could pay whatever without FFP, couldn't you? So,
I don't see him as such as a Robinho, because I think Robinho was shoehorned into City almost.
He thought he was going to United, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he was shoehorned into City, and I feel like, with having Carlo Ancelotti already at the club and him being established now for, it's nine months he's been at the club, isn't he?
Mad, isn't it?
So I think that's already been established. And I think, listen, if that's the comparison, that's the comparison. I don't know what other comparisons to make. I really don't. All I know is he's a good player, and hopefully we get the best out of him. And with a manager who's had him already twice, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, that's got to count. That counts for a hell of a lot, I think, as well, when you come to buying a player. Player knowing the system of the manager knowing the system of the player, knowing the player knowing what it's expected from the manager knowing that he'll get those things from the player. So it can only be positive, I'm hoping, I'm thinking.
I mean, he's one of the most, without a shadow of a doubt, technically, he'll be one of the most talented footballers a lot of us will have seen play for Everton in terms of his technical ability. His left foot's fantastic. We're lucky enough to remember Kevin Sheedy, who had a wonder of a left foot. This kid has got a brilliant left foot on him. Last couple of seasons, he hasn't played as much football. No. That might be to Everton's benefit in terms of miles on the clock. He's obviously it's a new challenge for him. He's coming to the Premier League. He's wanted to play in the Premier League. He's also got, like you've just said a couple of times, they're a manager who he really trusts. And let's be honest, he wouldn't be at Everton without Carlo Ancelotti. He wouldn't have come to play for Everton under Marco Silva or Sam Allardyce, let's be honest. But you're right, we've got to take what it is at the time, and Ancelotti is our man. And this kid can come in and play in a few positions for us, and there can be no doubt about his actual quality. No doubt that he improves Everton's side or the squad. But would you, as a 29-year-old, would you have preferred to have seen a younger, like a forward player, or do you just think, no, let's see with his experience what he can do for us?
His age doesn't really bother me.
Okay.
As such, I think athletes, I think there's still plenty of miles on the clock when they get to that age. These are athletes, and yes, we're getting now conditioned to know all about the monetary side of football, the sell-on values, FFP, amortization, all these words that get thrown around. We've debated this many a time, and what we need at Everton are good footballers. And unfortunately, when you're a club like Everton, those players don't always come round in their peak, or you don't have them in their peak. And sometimes you just need a couple through the door who may have been at big clubs to come in and, as I said, like you just said there, you're not always going to get those players at the right time of their career because of who we are. But you've got to build a culture so you are bringing those players in at the right time of their career. And that doesn't happen straight away.
No.
It really doesn't. And it doesn't, for some clubs, it never happens. That's how you become an elite club or a Champions League club, is you start to bring players in at the right time. We're looking, if we want to find comparisons out there, the comparison to us at the moment would be someone like Spurs, who are probably, 2-3 years ahead of us in terms of they've got the stadium and they've had a good collection of players who play in the Champions League. But you wouldn't look at those players and go, well, they've gone out and bought world-class players. They've been lucky to build players, Harry Kane and Dele Alli, and they've added a few to it, good scouting and good coaching. So you've got to, there's different ways to do it, but certainly players who are 25, 26, who are world-class are not going to fall into our lap.
No.
So we've got to go out there and reap the benefits of other players who have been there, who are just a little bit further on now.
This fella, we all remember the goal in 2014, the chest and volley for Colombia in the World Cup. Seeing him score incredible goals for Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, brilliant. And you look at him and think, that kind of ability coming into us. But the other thing is with him as well is easily the most high-profile player we've ever had on a world stage. I think there's only Manchester United, I think, who have more followers than him on Twitter, if you want to measure it by that. But he's the sixth most popular athlete in the world in terms of following. That's including a list that has LeBron James in it, by the way, and people like that. So it's huge for Everton, the club, to have this player coming in. And he is a fantastic.
Interesting to see if Everton can do something with that. I mean,
can we build on it? That's the big thing.
We've
also got Yerry Mina here as well. Got a Colombian
But also, though,
connection.
we've got Richarlison as well. Don't want to just put the whole thing into but these countries are covered by similar TV stations and there's
football mad countries.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got Bernard in there as well. All these countries love the Premier League, so we've got to be expanding the brand and hoping that a player like that does that as well and start attracting. And listen, you might have a lot of people out there who are, especially from South American countries, Spanish-speaking countries, or Portuguese-speaking countries. These people might follow Real Madrid's or Barcelona's or Benfica's or whoever. But we can make them their club in England, or just a club that they go and buy a share from, where they're
a club they recognise.
You know, hammies on the back, whatever. That's what you want, isn't it? These are the things that Everton haven't been productive enough.
He's obviously a hugely experienced player, so we'll have a look now. There he is, 338 club games he's played, got 104 goals, 124 assists. He's played 76 internationals for Colombia and has got 22 international goals. So obviously, looking at his numbers there, it's like 1 in 3 roughly for games and goals.
Yeah, that's
isn't it? It's
impressive. The assists is a big one, isn't it, as well?
To be involved in 228 goals in 338 games.
He's the third highest goal scorer for Colombia as well. I don't think he's that far behind becoming the second as well. So there's a motivation for him. Obviously take a lot of pride in being in playing for the international side. You've got the World Cup coming up as well in a couple of years as well. It's a big motivating factor to get there.
And the Copa America next summer as well, isn't it? 21.
Yeah, doesn't it stretch into like September though or something?
Yeah. So well, obviously there is.
No,
it
is.
But his numbers are very impressive. Yeah. Like I say, 228 goals in 338 games to be involved in. Yeah. Shows you the kind of ability that Everton are getting. I've like we all do. I've invested heavily about 3 hours in watching clips of him when I knew that he was coming, and seeing some of his passing ability is incredible, and his goals, and someone who can shoot from outside the box and score great goals. If that, you put that into this Everton team, which is, we spoke many times, 9 goals across our midfield from everybody last season. You're looking at this fella who was getting 8s and 9s for Bayern Munich and Real Madrid, and you put that in, it can only make the team go up. And you touched on it a few times, creating the culture. This fella knows what Ancelotti wants. Ancelotti knows what he's getting off him. You start putting that in. And just before we finish, with the rest of the squad that's there, how big a boost do you think it is for players who are there to see him? Because he's the name, isn't he? To see him come into Everton.
I think certainly straight away, someone like Richarlison, I think straight away that's a call to action. Yeah. Everton straight away showing we do mean business. And we know there's been little mentions of him maybe leaving. Not this season, obviously, but maybe next summer. Let's say. He'll have grown up knowing that this fellow was a big star, like anybody would within a certain territory, especially when you're involved in Copa Americas. Now, obviously, Richarlison's won one. You've got all these. They'll know that. Yeremina is part of the squad. It's just telling everybody. It's just telling everybody.
I'm thinking of people like Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I'm thinking of people like Anthony Gordon, who just signed a new 5-year deal recently. You're looking at you're training all of a sudden. I mean, if you're Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Moise Keane maybe, and you're Richarlison, the next one you've got someone who's that creative. All of a sudden you're thinking this fella can put the ball on it's a symbol, isn't it? It is saying to not only the people who are at the club, the players, but the fans and the outside world, is that Everton are trying to break through, get back into Europe and start trying to push on. But the last word before we do wrap it up, what do you make of people elements of the media who are kind of looking at us sneeringly? We've seen your, hi Mark, to Mark Ogden on Twitter thing about Ancelotti. James Rodríguez, he doesn't play for Real Madrid, he's an outcast. I've seen Tim Vickery saying he's an outcast because Real Madrid have got about 30 really good players. We're talking about a Welsh fella there who's not bad, who's won all kinds of Champions League, can't get anywhere near the team as well. What do you make to that almost snobbish look of like, why you shouldn't be trying to break in this big six as we've got ours established?
Doesn't bother me.
Not bothered.
Been used to it for years, haven't we? So when you're not trying, they ask the question, why aren't you trying? And then when you start trying, they start saying, well, why aren't you? People ask questions of like, I'll go back to Spurs. People ask all that question all the time. Why didn't Spurs go out and buy this player? Why didn't Spurs go out and buy that player when they were at the highest? Why didn't they take a chance on this player? I always find that sometimes what tends to happen is when teams are on the top, at the very top, it's fine for them to go and buy players like that, Man United used to...
They were linked with him. And
But Man United used to go out
and
and not... But I meant...
Yeah, yeah.
But look at, like, when they went and bought, like, Robin Van Persie. Okay, that was the icing on... And I understand that.
Cherry on the
You know,
cake,
Liverpool are trying to get Thiago, you know... Again, that's the same age, but it is that finishing touch. You know, all the top... Chelsea have Thiago Silva. No one's saying anything about them, are they? No one's saying... Now, we're trying to do it the other way. Now, and I know... Listen, it doesn't matter. We're happy as fans. The club are happy. And, you know... Whatever happens. But Everton can't be accused of not trying to do things, because I think there'll be this buys you time while you're trying to get hold of those top youngsters as well and allow them to come through and allow them to develop. This allows you time. This makes people sit up and go, oh, actually they are trying to do things a little bit different. So and we need to, because, you know, the last few seasons have been very, very poor. So
incredible
it's exciting.
signing, really.
It's exciting to have a play like this at the club. It's exciting to have what follows this. And the only disappointing part will be that we will not be in the stadiums for when he's making his debut and that kind of thing. So that is the only disappointing thing, but that's just the way it is. There you go. We'll be having more on this signing. You know, we'll be breaking this down, getting all the stats, looking at what he's been doing. I won't, certainly. That'll be Andy.
I mean, you might.
That'll be Andy doing all that. I'll just be sitting there sneering, going, haha, 29. So there you go. Subscribe if you haven't. If you've just found this channel because of James Rodríguez, please subscribe. We'll be going heavy on this player. So please subscribe.
And you can get subtitles if you are.
If they're not using subtitles by now.
Yeah, there you go.
They've been sitting to us just waffle on for 15, 20 minutes. Subscribe, give this video a like, and if you want to watch more videos, live daily videos, join us over on our Patreon, where you can get involved in the conversation yourself. The link is in the description. Thank you for watching. See you later.